Hi, fourth graders, and welcome to Thursday's Writers Workshop. Last week, we worked hard to develop scenes from our story arcs. Today, we're going to work on describing the setting of our historical fiction stories in a way that really shows what it was like living in the time period we are writing about. Today, I want to teach you that historical fiction writers use setting not only to orient readers to the particular time period that a story is set, but also to convey the feelings surrounding a major historical event. For example, if people are living in a time of unrest or having to make do with less food or fewer supplies, the writer might describe the setting in ways that paint it as bleak. Incorporating historical details to describe a setting. Let's see how the author, Patricia Polacco, pays attention to the historical details to describe the setting of Nazi-occupied France in our mentor text, The Butterfly. They stopped and peered into the front window of Monsieur Marc's candy shop. He waved them in as he always did. He loved the children in the neighborhood and always had small bits of brightly wrapped candies for them in his apron pocket. As the girls entered the store, they saw that most of the jars that used to be filled with every kind of candy and confection were empty. The war. But Monsieur Marx had saved something for them. For you, little Monique, Monsieur Marx cooed as he dropped a bright dot of sweetness into her hand. And one for you, ma petite, he said as the beautifully wrapped confection rolled into Denise's waiting hands. Monique and Denise unwrapped their candies and popped them into their mouths. But as they were walking away from the store, they suddenly saw tall boots coming toward them up the hill. The tall, shining boots of marching Nazi soldiers. Their heels clicked like gunshots along the cobblestone path. People froze and tried not to look at the soldiers. The girls wanted to run, but knew better. They had learned to chat and laugh as if they had no cares in the world. Historical details within scenes continued. Now that we have read that scene from our mentor text, let's ask ourselves the following. What are some examples of historical details this author includes in her writing? And how did the author's description of the setting create meaning for the readers? Take a moment to pause the video and think about how you would respond to these questions. Welcome back. Now that we've read the scene from our mentor text, we've asked ourselves the following questions. What were some examples of the historical details that the author included in her writing? I noted that she included empty candy jars, tall boots, cobblestone path, and no eye contact with soldiers. And how the description of the setting created meaning for the readers. The description created meaning by orienting the readers to the particular time period, but also conveyed how the characters were feeling in that moment and how many people felt during that time in history. Now let's work on creating scenes within our own writing. Let's practice writing a strong description of setting in a way that is historically accurate for the seed idea of my brother going off to war during World War II. Before I started, I thought to myself, how could I start this writing, making sure that I turn the lights on for my readers by including a historically accurate setting? So I went back to my notes and picked out some details that I wanted to include in the description of my setting, and here's what I came up with. By the window, where I usually sit, listening to the low grumble of chariots pass by along the cobblestone road, I await the arrival of my brother. Clop, clop, clop. The sound of those tall, shining boots could be recognized so easily. The rhythmic sound of the boys returning to their homes after a long day made my stomach twist and turn as it reminded me that one day Colin wouldn't just be a part of Hitler's youth, going door to door collecting scrap metal and delivering draft notices. Instead, he would be the one springing into action by joining the war as a soldier. Let's dive deeper into my writing and highlight where I turn the light on for my readers by creating a historically accurate setting. As you can see, I already went in and highlighted these few things, but I wanted to read it again to you while you pay attention to the sections that I highlighted. By the window where I usually sit, listening to the low grumble of chariots pass by along the cobblestone road, I await the arrival of my brother. Clop, clop, clop. The sound of those tall, shining boots could be recognized so easily. The rhythmic sound of the boys returning to their homes after a long day made my stomach twist and turn. It reminded me that one day Colin wouldn't just be a part of Hitler's Youth, going door to door collecting scrap metal and delivering draft notices. Instead, he would be the one springing into action by joining the war as a soldier. Historically accurate settings help readers envision what life was like during that time. So I went back and highlighted all those things in my writing piece to set up that setting, but I also thought about the actual photographs to make images in my mind, and I hope that that helps my readers turn the light on and have a deeper understanding of what life was like and how people really felt during that time. As you can see, this is a photo of a chariot that was used during that time period. This is an image of Hitler's Youth. This is an image of a cobblestone road. Many of you have walked cobblestone roads yourself. They're all throughout the North End. These are an example of the tall, shining boots that the soldiers wore. And this is showing how they would join the war as a soldier. And a lot of kids in Hitler's Youth would go door to collect scrap metal, but they also delivered draft notices for older boys or young men who are being drafted to go into the army. Next steps. Now go back to Google Classroom and complete your Thursday writing assignment outlined below. As you go off today, be thinking about the setting of your story. Draft a scene that includes historical details that add meaning to your story. Here's a tip. Go back into your notes and pick out details that you would like to include in the description of your setting. We can't wait to read all of your writing and all the settings that you come up with in your pieces. Good luck!